Hello, I'm Colleen Gallagher, and I'm going to teach you today how to join two pieces of clay together. You're going to need some joining slip, which basically it's just our clay, our clay that we have, and just take some water and mash it with a fork until it's mushy. That's the official ceramic term. You're turning it into what's called a slurry, or a joining slip. And you will also need some tools. You will need a tool to score the clay, and these comes in several types. There are these little things with teeth on the edge, a little stainless steel rib with teeth. They have little implements that are a series of little wire needles. You can also make your own if you don't have one of those. You can pilfer some broom straw from your mom's broom and just join them together with some masking tape to make a little scratching tool. All right, so how to join clay. So you've got two pieces of clay that you want to join together. And clay, of course, when it's wet, is very sticky. It's just, it'll stick to things, and clay, you would think to join it would be very easy. You could just like jam it on there it's joined. But you will find that as the clay dries, it will become less sticky. Once the clay is dried, it will have no water content to it, and it will become very, very brittle. So this one I stuck together earlier, this now kind of almost hard. You'll see that this is going to be very hard to just break off. Sometimes it just falls off on its own if you haven't joined it properly. So, way to join clay. We're going to take a piece of clay. I'm just going to join this into kind of a loose cylinder, pretending that I'm going to make something, which I'm not actually making anything today, but we will need to trim these edges on a 45 degree bevel. Excuse me. So you're going to take your knife and kind of guesstimate a 45 degree angle and slice right across. A 45 degree angle, of course, is the strongest join. You could make a butt joint, which would be, I'll show you one of them. If you make a straight cut, this little area has less surface area than the 45 degree angle. And if you're joining two pieces of clay like that, they don't have as much surface area to hold on to each other. So 45 degrees is better for this. So once you've got an angle and you've got your cut where you want it, you're going to want to score and slip it. Scoring just means using one of your tools. You're going to rough it up. Now, don't be afraid to rough it up a lot. What we're going to try and do is get two surfaces that are like Velcro. And we want all those little rough edges to kind of hold on to each other. So once it's scored, you will then take some of your joining slip and paint a little bit of that on there. You don't need a lot. You don't want it all squashing out too much from the edges. So I've got one of those edges done. Where I'm going to join it on the other side is going to be the opposite bevel. It's going to be an undercut. So easier way to do that, rather than taking my knife and going that way, I'm going to flip my slab over and make another angled cut. Oops. That wasn't quite all the way through. Again, I'm going to score that end too. I sometimes see students trying to score their clay with just a needle tool, and they'll be going like this, and they've got an edge, and they'll go joop, 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 joop. That's not scoring. You want it to be actually look like the little rough bits like Velcro. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little more slip on this end. Okay, and then we're pretty much ready to go. So if I was making something out of this, like a slab mug or something, this is how you could join the two ends. So I've got two that are facing each other, and you want to line them up. It's better to overlap more than not enough. So don't be afraid to overlap it just a little more than you think you might need. So once it's in place, you know, it's like this slip is very sticky. It's kind of holding itself on there, but you want to really join these securely. So you're going to want to press from both sides, from the inside and the outside. And I like to also, what I call jiggle and wiggle, is like you're going to give it a little bit of a wiggle to make sure that the clay is sticking to clay and not just joining slip to joining slip. So I'm going to press. So you'll see once it's on there, it should be secure enough that if you were pulling on it, you couldn't easily separate them. You will also notice as I'm pressing, I'm getting kind of finger dents here. So be careful not to give it a hurtful pinch. Use kind of the flat parts of your finger when you're joining those together, but make sure it's joined all the way up and down and that it's secure and it won't come apart. I made a tool because I was doing a lot of hand building and I was getting a lot of finger dents here. So if you're having trouble with that, a handy tool you can make yourself for very little money is get a little lotion bottle. This one is, it's a little tapered, rounded bottle, the extra gentle face cleaner. And I made a little sock to go on it. This is just a little piece of scrap cotton cloth that fits on there, and that will keep the plastic from sticking to the clay.
And that's just held together with tape.
It's just held together with tape. I didn't sew it. This is masking tape that I just wrapped it around and put some masking tape on there. And I also taped up the bottom so it wouldn't slide up and down. The advantage to this is I can support the inside when I'm joining these two pieces of clay together, and I can use this kind of soft, almost flat curve to press on the outside. And I can get a lot more pressure on there without getting those finger dents. And you can kind of roll it in various directions to get a nice smooth join. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can also, if you're joining those two pieces of clay, you can also take one of your ribs, and if you've got a join, I'm going to pretend this is a join here that I've done. Very terrible job. I didn't score and slip it, but you can take a rib and smooth those after you've pressed it together thoroughly. Okay, so that is basically how to join two clays together, and good luck with that, and I hope your pieces don't fall apart. Thanks.